James.
Yes.
It's me.
It's you again.
It's David Turner calling you.
It feels like it's been like a couple of weeks, but it hasn't, has it? It's been not that long.
It's been about a week, I think. And it feels like we have been doing this. Actually, to me, it doesn't feel like we've been doing this for that long.
Really?
Yeah.
It does to me.
Really?
This feels like we've been doing this for months now. It's insane.
It must have been a month and a half, I think. Maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not been that long. Anyway, I was been thinking today, right? Mm-hmm. My previous calls, like recently, they've been relatively negative. Do you know what I mean? There's been a lot of bitching and moaning. And
I think you've been more positive than I probably would be. Like if I was completely unleash myself over those prequel films.
I guess, but I thought that this one, we should try and force it to be a little bit more positive, right? So my brother-in-law, James, has given me a book, and it's the Star Wars joke book.
Oh, no.
So I think just dropping a few of these in would cheer everyone up. What do you call a Wookiee with a lightsaber?
I've no idea, go on.
Sir. You call him Sir because he's got a lightsaber, isn't he? So you don't want to upset
him.
Don't want to upset the one.
Okay. Right.
Let's just pick another random one. How does Han Solo make a shelter on Hoth?
Well, he guts that thing, doesn't he? And then go on.
Igloos it all together. Igloo it all together, does he?
I can see what he's done there. Yeah.
Where do the rebels go for lunch?
I don't know. A cantina?
General Snack Bar. Yeah? Oh, Admiral Snack Bar.
Terrible.
I missed that
It should have been the cantina. That makes more sense.
Admiral Snack Bar. I balls that one up. I shut the book down before I read the punchline and I said General instead of Admiral.
It's Admiral Snack Bar. That makes more sense and it's quite funny, actually.
I thought that was quite a good one.
Yeah, that was not bad at all. Yeah.
Well, we'll come back to them. If I feel like the show's dipping, I think I might drop a few more.
Yeah.
How do droids say goodbye, James?
I don't know, go on.
Microwaves. What the fuck? You like that one?
That's terrible. They're basically all just like dad jokes, aren't they? It's terrible.
Well, we might come back to them if the show dips.
Yeah.
If the school dips.
Right. Do one more. Can you just do one more? Go on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, go on, do one more. One more.
But give me a page number out of between one. Oh no, they all say page 10. I think you're supposed to score them. I think you're supposed to score the jokes. Brilliant.
What, out of 10?
Why did the Wookiee cross the road?
I don't know, go on.
It was the chicken's day off. So that's good. That's not even anything Star Wars related in that one. You're right. Do you want me to hang up and call 999?
It's terrible. That's really terrible. Sorry.
The Force Awakens, James.
It does. It's a new era.
I've seen this film.
New era of Star Wars.
I have seen this film.
So have I. I watched it again because previous to this, I'd only seen it. I think this is probably maybe the third time I've seen it. I think, or the second time. I can't remember. But yeah, I was quite excited to watch this though.
Excited. This is genuinely the most excited I've ever been about watching a Star Wars film.
Really?
I was so pumped to watch this film, James. I can't tell you.
Why?
I think because there was no baggage. So the first three films, I know how much they're loved. So I'm going into them, and that's in the back of my mind, right?
Yeah.
And then the prequels, I know how much people hate them. So that's at the back of my mind. So I'm kind of I know people really don't like these. So I've gone into these films thinking I've not got high expectations for the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I know they're supposed to be brilliant, but I sort of toned myself down because I thought I didn't want to go into these thinking these are going to be the greatest films ever and then be disappointed. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
The next three films, I knew people hated them, so I had rock bottom expectations for these films.
Which probably worked out better because then you probably enjoyed them more than you would have done.
I enjoyed them more than I would have done. They are still really quite poor, aren't they? I mean, the discussion we had at the end of the last one, I think they're interesting films, aren't they? Because you think about them, and the more you think about them, the less you think of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like last call, I was kind of going, I don't know if I would put this above, but I don't think I would actually. Like, the Revenge of the Sith above Return of the Jedi. I don't think I would.
There's too many things wrong with it. I mean, Jedi's got a lot of things wrong with it, but Revenge of the Sith's got way more.
I think it helped that I'd seen 2 poorly acted films before watching a third poorly acted film, so that kind of, it sort of got me used. But this one, The Force Awakens, so I knew that the old crew were back, so I was really excited about that. I was just really happy that a lot of the problems I had with the prequels could be directly pointed at George Lucas.
Yeah, and you're thinking J.J. Abrams with this one. He's generally not been that bad.
No, he's generally not been that bad, and the fact that he's not, Lucas isn't involved, I think is a plus. I think that's a really good thing. But also, I had no idea, literally no idea before I put this disc in what people thought of it. Right? All I had was that when Colin gave me the Blu-ray, he said, I really like this one. So I knew he liked it, but I had no idea what the rest of the internet felt about it. So the rest of the internet, they're the only ones that matter. Like the rest of the world, I've got the critical response to it. I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know what hardcore fans or I didn't know anything. So it felt like, this is brilliant. So I don't know if this is a good film or not. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it or not. I was so fucking pumped. So this was a big one for me. This is the first time I'd felt hype about watching a Star Wars film, and I think that means a lot. Right, okay, shall I get into my notes?
Yeah.
I'm grinning from the first second. Man, the opening text is bang on point again. Luke vanished. First Order has formed. Leia sent a pilot to find an old ally. This is too much. Like, just that opening text there, I was like, oh my god, is it back? Like, is the magic back? Because even that is brilliant.
Yeah, I've got that down. I've got the opening crawl is like kind of like A New Hope in the sense of like it's like bang in straight away with like something which sounds quite interesting.
I think it is. It's what it is, right? Is that the opening crawl for the original 3 films are like, here's what's happened to Han, here's what happened to Luke, here's Leia's current situation, and here's a little bit of dressing, right? Whereas in the prequels, it just tried to explain too much. It crammed it in. It didn't make it was so hard to follow.
I don't know. There was all the trade delegations and all that kind of stuff. It was fine.
War
and war. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Stormtroopers are back. This is a bit weird though. It looks like an actual film now. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's another thing I've got down here because I've written here. It's so nice to see non-CGI troopers. Do you know what I mean? In the sense that they're moving completely normally, they look like they're real things now, rather than
Well, it was more just the way it's shot because especially with the prequels because they were done in the 90s, but even the original trilogy, obviously, there was no shots of low down. With using lighting in a really interesting way. It looked like a movie, for the first time. A movie that I can relate to growing up. In the years that I did, and all right, cinema has drastically changed through the 90s and into
I know what you mean.
noughties.
It's like this is modern Star Wars. This is still Star Wars, but it looks modern.
Yeah, I mean, this film imitates the original film a hell of a lot, and I'm sure we'll cover that. But one thing it doesn't try and imitate is the cinematography. It really does just go, okay, bang, this is what a Star Wars film should look like in 2015 or whenever this come out. If it's 2015, wasn't it? Right, okay. I've seen the robot. I recognised the robot ball. Instantly, or the droid ball.
So BB-8.
BB-8, yeah. But I didn't know much about it. I just he was everywhere, wasn't he, when the film had launched? So I've definitely seen him.
Yeah, it was hardcore sort of trying to sell that, I think, because they had remote control versions you could buy and all that kind of stuff.
Whatever. I that stuff doesn't wind me up at all. You know what I mean? The only film that's ever wound me up on is Cars 3, where for no reason, Lightning McQueen changed colour throughout the whole movie. And I was like, this is weird. Why is he blue now? Why is he like grey? What is going on? And then you go to the shops and you see 40 different colours. Yeah. Lightning McQueen. Right, okay. Emotional Stormtrooper. That's a turn up for the books. Watched his mate die. Right, so that's the one. He watched his mate die, and then it does that, like, classic cinema thing where they have to change him visually. Like, if there's a group of a load of similar looking things and you want to determine one from another, you change their look slightly. And
you got to differentiate.
He got blood. He got blood on his face, didn't he?
I'll tell you what else, though. I mean, this is the other thing I wrote down here, was that, like, that opening sequence, I mean, the fighting in that was immediately, like, far more sort of, like, visceral than anything from the prequels.
It was totally agree.
It was, I mean, I really loved that at the beginning of that. I thought it was fantastic the way they did that. It felt sort of like hardcore, but not too much, if you sort of mean, but still just about right.
It was pretty hardcore. I mean, him walking around with a flamethrower with, like, I'm sure kids were screaming in the background and stuff because they were burning down that village. It was like, shit, man.
What's the difference between that and C-3PO, burning those bodies? Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Well, they were already dead. I'm not gonna see C-3PO rocking up with a flamethrower, a little village, like, just burning. Oh, sorry, man, that's just a little bit hot, isn't it?
No, but it's like, you think about it. Like in A New Hope, you have, like, Luke's family all being killed, and they were all, like, burned. And it's like, it was kind of interesting to show that they're actually trying to show this is what stormtroopers are like. Like, this is actually the reality of this, which you never see in any of the other films.
Absolutely right. Like, it isn't trying to tone things down, is it? These are the bad guys again.
This is brutal. And, I thought they did that. That was good.
Okay, Kylo Ren. A bit too close to Darth, isn't he? And his voice just sounds like 1,000 podcasts I've listened to. Like, his voice was a bit like... Because it was just like... Hello, yes, and you might as well go, welcome to the gardening podcast with me and my mate Brian. Hi Brian, how are you doing? Yeah, it was like really sort of, what was the reaction to his voice? Like, I'm sure a lot of people were commenting about his voice, right?
No, not really, because that all comes into the wider story of his character, I think. Which I found interesting that we'll get to.
Yeah, he was... I mean, you later find out that he's clearly trying to imitate Darth Vader. That's the whole point. So, yeah, I get it.
He's basically like he's a Darth Vader fanboy.
Yeah,
totally. He is, which is what's really interesting about that. We'll get to that. But
it's fantastic. We'll get to that. But anyway, but initially when I first saw him, I was kind of like, oh, man... Like, are they just trying to make him Darth Vader? Are they what is his voice about? And okay. Cocky bloke issuing the first gag. He talks first, or I talk first, and then I just put good stuff. I liked it because it was. Yeah, I don't know. We'll get to the comedy in this as well. I know it's really irritating that we keep doing that, but we just need to.
I think though overall, the comedy worked in this better than anything in the prequels.
Should we just go to it?
Yes, just say it.
The comedy is the best in any film. Star Wars film.
I'm trying to think if there was a couple of lines I think that I thought maybe not, that doesn't really work. But in general,
there wasn't a single one. The gags in this were fantastic throughout. I laughed,
and there's some good visual gags as well. Like that come later, but
I've mentioned a bunch of them, so we'll cover them. But I just think this is easily the funniest Star Wars film, which is incredible because it's also up. I'm jumping ahead. Okay. Emotional Stormtrooper going all, are we the bad guys? I mean, it's not a bad direction to take it, but it's a bit modern day cinema, isn't it? Again, I come back to that. Sorry, let's just get through these notes because this is the problem. For the first time, I really just want to talk about the film as a whole, but we're going through the notes, so it's getting a bit frustrating, but okay, we'll get through it. Loving the nods to original Star Wars, crash ship in the sand. Oh my god. Oh my god, the helmet had tons of sand in it and she just put it straight on her head. Fuck that. We've already discovered sand at length on these calls. And to see her pick up that helmet. This is Rey, right?
Yeah.
She picks up her helmet and just puts it on her head and you just see all the sand like dripping down. I was like, mate, that is gonna take ages to get out of her hair. That's horrific. Mirroring A New Hope well. With the robot having something important. Although I think I missed how it actually ended up on the planet. So This planet isn't Tatooine, is it? It's another sandy planet.
No. This is Jakku.
That's it, Jakku. Yeah.
And what's also the other thing I loved with the imagery of that was all the other stuff, like the downed Star Destroyer and stuff that you see, and like all the other wrecked stuff. And there are, I mean, obviously,
there's like on there as well, isn't it?
That. Yeah, and there's connecting stories with that, and it's because it's quite. I mean, you know, those Battlefront 2 came out, and they had like a campaign in that.
Yes.
That ties into this because it explains a lot of that stuff.
Oh, really? Cool.
Because what it is that like Jakku is where there's like the last battle between the Empire and the Rebels, and that's why there's all like this downed stuff everywhere because there's been this massive climactic battle.
Does it explain why the Millennium Falcon's there?
That's later. Yeah, I know why that is, but
right, okay.
I don't think it's
explained in this film. Anything.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So yeah, no. Can you explain that to me? Because I must have totally missed this. So BB-8 was, he was with the pilot.
Yeah, he was with Poe.
He was with Poe, but what was the name? Where were they when they were having that fight?
Which fight?
When they got attacked and that village got burnt up.
They were on Jakku.
Right. Okay. So he didn't. So I'm sitting because it's quite different looking, isn't it?
Yeah. It's because of the. Yeah, it's because of the way it's shot, isn't it? Because it's like nighttime and
yeah. Gotcha. Because I was like, I don't remember there being a scene where he got on a ship somewhere and then ended up on this planet. So that's just me being thick.
He's on Jakku.
Okay, fine. This is great so far. Compared to the prequels, there's about 50 Oscar-winning performances. It's true, though, isn't it? It's weird seeing a Star Wars film after watching all of the 3 prequels and getting to this. It's weird watching a Star Wars film where, like, the acting's decent.
Yeah, well, it's not just atrocious. I mean, that was the...
It's bizarre. Mate, the escape in the TIE fighter is fucking brilliant. Proper non-stop smiling over here. This is weird. My notes are just really dragged out because I was so into the film I didn't want to sit down and take notes. Finn should have looked about for tracks, really. I bet the pilot dude is still alive, right? So this is where Finn... So by this point, Finn and Poe had teamed up. Finn had helped Poe escape. That whole escape sequence where they were caught up on that TIE fighter and then they start shooting back at the stormtroopers, then they get away and they fly down, and then do they get shot? They get shot and they crash, right?
They get shot down, they crash, and then the TIE fighter crashes, and then it looks like Poe's dead.
I was kind of like, Finn, look around for tracks, mate, because if Poe got out of that ship, surely he'd be leaving tracks. But then even that's explained later, isn't it? Because he gets flung from the...
Yeah, he says he gets thrown from the ship.
So he's nowhere near it. But then also,
because that TIE fighter gets kind of sucked into the sand, doesn't it? And then explodes. So
it does then, but when he first goes in and he goes up to the ship... Yeah, anyway, I was wrong, James, to have a go at Finn about that. Finn saying he's from the Resistance is funny. So far, this film has been on point. Yeah, so that's when he finally meets Rey, and Finn goes... I'm from the Resistance. Yeah, like I just all of that stuff was really, really funny.
Yeah. Well, there's a better line with that later, isn't there? With that when he says to Han Solo about being a big deal and all that.
That was good. Yeah. Millennium Falcon reveal was great. That ship is garbage. And then who was that shouts, "That's mine!" as they fly off?
That was the guy who was giving her like rations and stuff for things. You know, like when she was trading things in, it was him.
Yeah, but, right, okay. I thought it was like maybe a link to something in the original trilogy, but obviously
not. No. Because the reason the Falcon's there is that basically from what because I was reading up about this the other day, because I was also curious how it ended up there, and it was basically a series of events where like it was stolen from different people. Like it was stolen from Han first, then it was stolen from someone else, and then it ended up on Jakku. It was
Han stole it from Lando, right?
Yeah, Well, yeah, that's a disputed. I mean, we'll get to that later.
Right. I put it's playing to the fans really well, but I don't feel like it's too like shit. It didn't feel shit at any point. And for me personally, I've got a feeling that there was a bunch of Star Wars fans out there, or maybe not even fans, but a bunch of people that saw this film and come out going, "Oh my god, it was just fan service. It was just 2 hours of fan service." Like
that was one of the main things that people that didn't like it. That's the main stick they have to beat it with. Is they're just like it's just fan service, like the entire film.
Well, what the fuck is the point of the film anyway? Then Like, surely the whole point is fucking Star Wars, man. And not only that, it's like, you know, they've got the opportunity to sort of reboot the series after 3 like relatively shite films, and the best way of doing that is just to appeal to the fans and go, yeah, remember all that cool shit? This is it. We're going back to the fucking cool shit again, man. Let's go. Millennium Falcon, fuck it, whack it in. I love it. I mean, the thing with the film is, I mean, I feel they played it quite safe with this film in terms of like where they went with it. But then you can kind of understand why after the prequels. It needed. I mean, some people do describe this film as being like a soft reboot anyway, and that's kind of what it is, and it works very well, I think. So you didn't mind that stuff then?
No, not at all. No, I was totally fine with that. There are other things that I'm less happy with, but that stuff was absolutely fine.
Ray and Finn, I think, are brilliant together, because you know, with all this old stuff that is in this film. And how close it follows, you know, A New Hope. They introduced these 2 new main characters, Ray and Finn. I thought they were fantastic.
Yeah, like, I totally agree with you on that. By this point
in the film, which is still quite early in the film, I've really felt that Ray was a wonderful character. Like, I loved how enthusiastic and excited she was. Like, every now and then she'd just go giddy and start like smiling and high-fiving, you know, that sort of attitude I thought was wonderful.
You see, I mean, bringing like 2 new characters into something like this as well is really difficult, and I really think they nailed it, like absolutely.
100%. I loved them too, and when they were on the screen together, I thought they were great as well. The way they would interact with each other didn't feel forced, or it was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed those 2 characters throughout the whole film. But it's funny because initially, I didn't like Finn because I thought it was, you know, a current day movie trope. Hey, the bad guys realised he's a bad guy. You know, it was kind of like that. But it didn't feel like that at all. It just felt so natural, and he played it so well, and the acting is obviously fantastic. I thought, wonderful characters, like really like worthy of being in this film, I think, you know.
And it is not, I mean, there's a brilliant bit with that. So you're going to get to the bit next, aren't you, where Han turns up? You know, like for the first time.
Yeah, it's coming up, yeah.
And then, but there's a brilliant bit with that when he like opens the thing and they're both like in the smugglers things, like, and they just like they've been caught and they're like kids, and it looks really funny. Like it works perfectly. It's wonderful. Honestly, I by this point in the film, I was like, oh my god. This is just hitting me on so many levels, right? The new characters they're introducing feel like the ones like they've always been there. You know what I mean? That's the best way to describe it. The new characters that they're introducing feel like they've always been part of Star Wars, but they're not. They're new characters, and fuck me, they're nailing it. Right, okay, Kylo Ren smashing up the ship in a rage is just like me after losing at Rocket League. If I was a Star Wars bad guy, I'd be him. I changed my opinion on that later, but I just love the fact that, because initially I thought he was just like a ball of rage, right? And but he's basically a petulant teenager. Well, like he's having a temper tantrum.
I have a note about that later, but at that time in the film, we hadn't seen what he looked like, and we didn't really know much about his character. And I just imagine, like, you know, when Darth, something bad happens to Darth, he looks up at the sky, puts his hands out to the side, and goes, no, right? whereas Kylo Ren would be more like what I'd be if I was a villain like that. I'd just be like, oh, for fuck's sake, just start smashing the shit up and like fucking kicking shit and using my lightsaber to just like mark the walls and stuff. Yeah. I thought, he's my boy, but turns out he's not. But we'll get to that. BB-8's doing the thumbs up is the coolest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars.
Yeah, I like that bit. I laughed at that bit.
It was so cool. It was so good. Han and Chewie, fucking yes. I hope they don't get poisoned though, lol. Yeah, because they just rock up just before they're about to like start poisoning everything, and I was genuinely going, please don't set that off, please. I love these two too much. Okay, Chewie saying, I don't know, is the coolest thing I've ever seen in Star Wars. Right, so that had already been told. What happens? There's, what's the line, James? They're talking about something. They're talking about Han Solo, and he said something like, well, what is it? Are you this person or whatever, or something like that. And then and then they all look at Chewie, and Chewie just goes, whoa. And I was just like belly laughing. I thought it was fucking wicked. Shit, I can't remember the conversation, but it was really funny.
Line, but yeah.
Standoff with Solo and the two gangs, laughing throughout. This is great. I mean, because Han is just like cracking jokes here, there, left, right, and centre. It's brilliant.
And they're all landing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all spot on. Wait, did she just look at the camera and say, wrong fuses? That was weird. Did you see that bit?
I didn't pick that up, no.
This probably the only negative thing I've got to say about this film. There's a bit where, you know, where she's trying to shut the doors and let the... I can't remember what she's trying to do. She's trying to shut the doors to close off the gangs from Han Solo.
Yeah.
But she accidentally unlocks the doors to all the monsters that he's keeping on the ship.
Yeah, and they all escape.
She does it, and they all escape. And then she looks at the camera and goes, wrong fuses. And I was like, why are you looking at the camera?
I don't remember that at all.
Maybe she's looking just to the left of the camera. But as I was watching it, it genuinely looked like she was just like looking at the audience and going, wrong fuses, guys, you know? I was like, this is really weird, but okay. Maybe I just saw that wrong, but it did look like she was looking at the camera.
That wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. I mean, I don't remember.
It wasn't a deal breaker, but it was kind of like, what? Wait, is that new Death Star? Holy shit, Supreme Leader is what I'm talking about. Proper freaky. Yeah, I've got theories about that. Should we talk about that now? The Supreme Leader?
About Snoke, yeah?
Yes, Snoke, is it?
Yeah, that's the name, yeah.
Right, okay. So, don't tell me if you know the answer, but it's going to turn out he's like really little, right? It's leading up to a gag over the next 3 films or whatever that he's going to be really little. Because at first I thought, fucking hell, this is horrific. Look at the size of him or whatever. And then you find out at the end that he's a hologram throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because that isn't, you're not supposed to know that throughout the film until the end, right?
No, yeah, you see that at the end, yeah.
Right, okay. I've just got a feeling that he's like this really little guy. And when we do actually see him, whether it's in the next film or the one after, he's just going to be really little, and that whole hologram thing is just like how he appears. Do you know the answer? Do you know the answer?
Right. Of course I know the answer. Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because the last film's not out yet. Well, so you might not have known. Okay, all right, fine. I reckon he's a little guy. Okay.
So you reckon, how when you say little, I mean, how little do you mean?
Like,
you mean like
knee
Yoda
height?
Size?
Yeah, like Yoda size, yeah. Maybe smaller. Okay. It'd be really funny if he's like an ant.
So okay, so he's like a miniature Supreme Leader.
Well, I'm being stupid, and I just think that'd be a really funny gag. Like if he was
but you can't have a gag about like the main bad guy, can you?
Yeah, I suppose not. But how funny would it be if you see him all the way through the next film as this massive hologram or whatever, and then they finally find him, open the door, and he's like 2 foot tall.
Yeah, it'd be funny, but then it would be a completely different kind of film.
Yeah,
like if you did that.
So. I suppose so. Oh, you ruined it. So he's not little. Well, you've told me now anyway. Yeah.
Well, he's not tiny. Yeah,
that's a shame though. How funny would that? You're right. It would destroy the whole thing.
Ruin it. It would.
But it'd be worth it for the gag. You must admit, they must have been sitting around a table just going, should we just make him really little?
If they do that, and then somebody at the table would be going, that's too much. You can't do that. It's...
Yeah, but you know that
if you make him little, I walk. It's like you can't do that.
Right, okay. Right, okay. Here we go. Oh shit, role reversal. Kylo Ren is Han Solo's kid. Man, I'm loving this so much. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great direction to take that. Didn't see it coming. Thought it was really interesting. Mm-hmm. You? What was your opinion on that? I hate it.
No, it was okay.
What? Why was it only okay? What are you doing? What is it?
Okay, I'll be honest. I was just looking at my phone for a second, then I didn't hear what you said.
James, what's on your phone?
Okay. Go on. Just
read the email out.
No, I can't because it's from work. It's a work thing. Yeah.
I can't believe you just ignored me then, and then just tried to
I didn't
get
ignore
away with
you.
it.
I just like I saw it flash up, and then I didn't hear what you said, and it was it's terrible. Sorry.
Why are Wookiees big, brown, and hairy?
Go on.
Because if they were small, white, and round, they'd be eggs.
That's not funny in any way whatsoever.
Okay, let me try this one then.
Go on.
Did you hear about the queues at the Jawa hospital? You have to be a little patient.
What?
You have to be... Jawa. Yeah. What's a Jawa?
Well, yeah, they're the little guys that stole the R2-D2 in the original trilogy.
You have to be a little patient.
Okay.
Like, a little... You have to be...
That's not a play on words, is it? It's just literally you have to be a little.
Knock.
I don't... Go on.
No, that's not the answer to that one, is it? Have you heard a knock joke before? Knock. Go on.
Who's there?
Interrupting Wookiee.
Interrupting Wookiee who?
I suppose you're supposed to do a Wookiee impression there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we'll come back to that book later. I just think it needed cheering up after you completely do it. I put, oh shit, role reversal, Kylo Ren is Han Solo's kid. Man, I'm loving this so much. I thought it was great.
Yeah, no, that was fine. But I think I knew that before we went into the film.
Oh, really?
Because I think that was the kind of thing that got leaked.
Oh, what a horrible spoiler to hear.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that everyone kind of knew that was going to happen. Because, I mean, the whole speculation...
That sucks, man. How did that leak?
Well, no, because the whole speculation, like, you've got to remember also here, you've got like 20, 30 years or whatever of speculation about what would happen after the end of Return of the Jedi. And there was so many, like, books that were written about this. There were so many theories, that kind of thing. Everyone knew that there was going to be a pairing like that somehow, that's what that was going to be. It was, and I'm pretty certain it was known before. I'm certain even in interviews or whatever before, like Adam Driver said it, like that's what he was. I don't think it was.
No, there's no way.
I don't think it was a big reveal. I really don't.
Really? Because it feels like it. Like watching the film without prior knowledge, it really does feel like a big reveal. Like,
I don't think so.
It's like, what do you mean you don't think so?
Well, I didn't. I mean, when I saw it, I didn't feel like it was a big.
Well, no, not you wouldn't if you knew it. But like the way they drop it in there is like, because he says something. I can't remember the reveal, but he says it, and then it cuts to another scene, like with one of those like, you know, like it might as well have the EastEnders like It felt like that, but I loved the concept of it. I was like, yes, get in. This is really interesting. Quick question: how did Rey become so great? Such a great pilot?
Yeah, that's also another issue.
It's not really explained, though. No,
and you see, I mean, the thing is, I mean, this. Can I say this is one of my only sort of issues with this film is I don't feel that the development of Rey in that way is that good, because she becomes very good at everything very quickly.
I think it's because this is something that I've been thinking about a lot as well, actually, and I think I know where you're going. What you're saying is that she actually becomes very good with using the Force and the lightsaber and everything very quickly, when we've been told at several points during the Star Wars films that it takes years, and you know, even if you're over 10 years old or whatever, it's almost pointless trying to teach you how to become a Jedi.
Well, and also the fact that with Luke in the original trilogy, there is like a progression there where it's not all instant. Like, he's not instantly being able to do mind tricks. He's not instantly being able to, like, you know, pull a lightsaber towards him and
he
stuff
had
like
to be taught by Yoda to lift up a little rock for a bit and stuff like that. All I'll say is that I think you just need to drop that. You know what I mean? You've just got to drop it now. And some people, it's like some people's got the Force or not, and it's whether they discover they've got it or not. Like, that hasn't bothered me because I haven't dwelled on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to the point where it's like, well, if it gives me a dramatic moment where she suddenly realises she's got the Force, I'd rather not have to see her go through years of training. Like, I'd rather just cut that bit out. I don't need to see her go through the training.
But then if you've been watching all this stuff for a very long time and it's kind of in your head that's how it's supposed to be, it's quite jarring. To see that. Because you got an expectation about what a Jedi should be, and she's not a Jedi either. like with this. So it's
this
a bit
is
difficult.
isn't it? Right. So because what is a Jedi? Right. This is the way I look at it. Like instantly, I just thought, well, if you've got Force powers, you're Jedi. That's not the case, is it?
No, it's not. Well, because also Snoke, like the Supreme Leader, he's not a Sith. He's not like the same as the Emperor or Darth Vader.
No, I mean I don't know enough about him yet. I've only seen him in holograms.
Yeah, well, no. It like even by the end of this film, it's clear that he's not anyway because he's a Supreme Leader. He's not like a Sith Lord or anything
and
like that.
he's not tall enough. He's only 3 foot tall, so he's got no chance of becoming a Sith Lord. But what I'm saying is that you just initially you find out if you've got the Force or not, right? That's the spark.
Yeah. If you're like Force sensitive, yeah.
And if you're good with the Force, you have the potential to become a Jedi. And if you're bad with the Force, you have the potential to become a Sith, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, if you lean towards the dark side or the light side or whatever, yeah.
Although technically there are no Jedis anymore, so you're not becoming a Jedi because a Jedi was like a group. It was like a gang, right?
Well, no,
it's
a group, but it's also it's people that adhere to like certain way of life.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Kind of thing. It's like a religion that uses people with the Force type. Yeah, right. I get that. So you don't just become a Jedi. Like first you learn to use the Force, and then you become a Jedi, and then a Jedi Master. But at this point. Yeah. There are no Jedi Masters, there are no Jedis, because the Council's just disbanded, so there is no group, right? Mm-hmm. Am I right?
Yeah, there's, at this stage, at this stage, it doesn't seem like there are any, is the thing.
And Kylo Ren is called Kylo Ren and not Darth whatever, because
he's not a Sith.
Disbanded as well, right?
Yeah.
But are there still like a group of Siths?
I don't know.
There must be, right?
Well, no, I mean, in the prequel trilogy, it was explained that there were always like two Sith, like there's always like the Master and the Apprentice.
Yes.
Like, with that. And although obviously there could be like lots of those like around that are like Master and Apprentice or whatever, but yeah, the Sith don't appear to be around at this stage.
No, because we know that the Jedis are gone, but we don't know that the Siths have gone. Mm-hmm. So there's the potential to be more Siths just like rocking about.
Yeah, in the same way, it's potential that there's Jedis as well. It's just that we don't know where they are. Because that's... Yeah, but
No, I don't agree.
No, there are, though, because... No, there definitely are, because in the fiction there are. There are... Like,
but I thought you said that the fiction was all disbanded.
No. Since Disney took it over, there's been new books and everything, which expand all this stuff.
That's weird, then, because then you would expect that the way that the prequels had set up, mm-hmm. you would expect that all the Jedis to know exactly how many Jedis are about.
Well, no, maybe they do, but then at the end of... I mean, okay, so when they had Order 66 happening... Was it Order 66? Yeah. When that happened, that was like the whole plan to annihilate all the Jedi. And then... So in the original trilogy, you're given the impression that Luke's like going to be like the last of the Jedi or whatever. He's going to be taught by Yoda, and the only ones rocking around were like Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff. But it's not true. There are actually lots of other Jedi that survived Order 66. It's just they go into hiding and stuff like that. But they are still around.
Right.
It's just
okay.
they just don't. And
Youngling hid under a
a desk. Exactly. He avoided the old lightsaber through his throat.
Right, okay. Star Wars bar, now we're talking. How did BB-8 get up those steps? Did that ever come up?
Nope.
No idea. No, okay.
I know, he might have used those... You know when he was on the ship?
Oh, yeah, his little those, things. They were cool.
Those hooks. He was like, maybe he just used the hooks to get up there.
Yeah, definitely did that. The burnt-up Vader mask is straight up funny. It didn't look good, did it?
It didn't, no. It didn't look so great.
With the little bits that look like teeth, all bent-up teeth and that.
But that's the thing, though, because it was at that point in the film, that's when you're starting to think, actually, Kylo Ren's a bit of a loser.
Yeah, no, totally.
And he's a Vader wannabe.
Yeah.
And he's not even sure if he's bad or not.
That's the turning point, isn't it? That's when you turn around and go, oh, like, he's this really evil bastard. So going, oh no, he just wants to starve like a little teenage dickhead in his bedroom, and he's just idolising a complete dick. You know what I mean? Like fans of the Libertines when we were kids. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I love the Libertines, but Pete Doherty, bit of a knob, wasn't he?
But he's got the shirt, and he's just trying to pretend to be like it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of embarrassing. It's just like a bit embarrassing.
Mum.
It's like, you can't go out like that, and he's like, "You can,
you can,
like,
you shit." Vivian. Ray's a really good character. I mean, I keep repeating this, but I love her childlike excitement and how badass she is. In fact, they're all pretty great. Initially, I thought the bad guy turning good was a bit cliche, but they've really sold it well. Holy shit, she's found a lightsaber. R2, oh man, this is too much. Right, so R2... So I think that was when she found the lightsaber, and then there was loads of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Or flash forwards, wasn't it? It was quite a good mix of, hey, this could be a flashback, this could be into the future.
Some of them are flashbacks, some of them are forward, it was all over the place.
So she was definitely seen as a girl being taken away from someone onto that planet, right?
Yeah, but also there was a bunch of voices there, because I was watching it with subtitles on, where I didn't know when I saw the film who those people were supposed to be that were talking. And, like there was Obi-Wan Kenobi, there was Yoda as well.
Really?
Yeah, all these people, it was their voices, like, speaking to her, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Oh, man.
And I didn't notice that in the... I mean, it was, it was later.
It's at this point that I thought, is she Luke Skywalker's daughter?
Yeah. I'm not saying, she is, but
right,
I'm saying, that's what a lot of people probably would have thought.
Right. Because it feels like... that's the way it's going to... The last film's called Rise of Skywalker, which I always assumed that it was about Luke Skywalker, but now I'm pretty sure she's a Skywalker.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I can't say nothing, can I?
No, you can't, but... Well,
because you've still got, like, this whole second film to get through. Like,
do you find out? Okay. So, do you find out about her past in the next film? Why?
Cannot say. I can't. No, I can't, because it will colour the.
No, okay, fair enough.
It's
yeah. No, fair enough. No, I trust her. She's got the Force. Has to be these visions. I knew he was still alive. Resistance shows up. Right. Okay, so that's when Poe shows up. Resistance shows up. Fantastic battle.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, come on, all of the battles in this film were good. Like, I thought they were all great. And particularly, this is going back, but the escape on Jakku I thought was fantastic. Like going through, with the Falcon and everything.
Oh God, yeah, that was great. That. Like, I loved how the camera was like spinning around at a different rate to the Millennium Falcon, and it made what I thought really disorientated, but also it was beautiful. Yeah, it was really, really good looking.
But you see, the other thing that they nailed with this film, compared with any of the prequels, and this is the main complaint I had about the prequels with the CGI, was that there was no. You could easily follow what was going on with this. It wasn't just a mess of just stuff.
The thing is, though, James, right? Okay, that is a good point, and I totally agree with you. But there were a lot of scenes in that you. Like, you painted with that brush as well, and it just wasn't the case. Like the opening to Revenge of the Sith, like, it didn't feel... I don't know how you could say that was hard to follow. I mean, there was so much going on, but you could follow the whole thing. It's not hard
to follow. It just looks a mess. There's just too much going on.
I don't know. I disagree with that one. But, like, there were many, many battles in those films that was a mess. Like, the worst was the Phantom Menace, where the attack on Jar Jar's planet. That was just a ridiculous mess, that whole section. But I totally agree with you, though. In this film, like, it's just a class above. Kylo Ren's voice really is off-putting, though, isn't it? We've discussed that.
Yes, yeah.
Leia, C-3PO, get in! Wonderful moment made even better by C-3PO being the bellend that I always love. Like, when he turns up and he goes, "Oh, you probably don't recognise me because of my red arm."
It's the red arm.
I was just like, I love C-3PO, and I love when he gets mugged off, and I like how much of a div he is. Like, he's the best. Like, would I say he's my favourite character? Shit.
That's a big call, that would be.
It is a big call, though, isn't it? But he's up there. Yeah. Like, I prefer him to R2-D2. Like R2D2's cool, whatever, and I've got time for that that little fella. But C3PO, every time he's on screen, I'm just like, yes, say something stupid, do something stupid, or someone's gonna like mug you off. Like, that is what I like. I just love it every time he's on, because you know something funny is going to be happening. It's ridiculous, man, because he's so against everything that I find funny and happy in these films. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually when you watch these films and the div character comes in, you're like, oh, rolling your eyes, here we go, something's going to happen. Like, and it's no different with C3PO, but it works. So, and this was great. R2D2 now dead from a broken heart. That was a bit lame. Oh, he's in lower power mode. All right.
Okay. Why? It's like, why is that?
Yeah, exactly. I was a little bit like, why? So he can come alive later at a pivotal moment in the plot.
Yeah, that was weak.
Yeah, it was weak. It was weak. Yeah. Kylo Ren taking his mask off looks like a classic rebellious teenager. We spoke about that.
I know he's got the hair and everything. It's
Yeah, mind trick worked. Love it. This is how Rey gets out of the cuffs. Like, she did that whole bit was great, because initially the stormtrooper wasn't listening, and then she did. And I know what you're going to say. That must have really pissed you off, that bit.
Yeah, it was too much already. Too much ability.
I get it. I get your point of view totally. For someone that's invested in the rules of using the Force for that many years. Yeah, I could see why you would be upset with that. For me, who is just like blitzing through these films, I just didn't care. I just thought, brilliant, yeah, it fucking worked. And now she's like...
it just felt... You see, to me, it just feels like it's just a handy plot device, isn't it, to use that? And it just felt like it wasn't earned.
I know, but
that's the problem.
For me, right, they fucked up so much with the prequels, right? This film here is getting you back into Star Wars, right? I did not want to have a film where we're watching a train to become a Jedi. It's like, I get all that. But
you didn't have to do that, but there still can be sort of progression and like building without.
Yeah, she could have got. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. She could have got out of the straps in a different way, and that would have avoided that. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But it just doesn't bother me that much. But I can't argue against you. No, you're right. Okay, this is building up really to a really great finale. So many angles. The Death Planet thing, whether or not they can turn Kylo Ren and finding Luke, all exciting. So it just felt to me that like anything can happen in the last 20 minutes. And I know that these are plot points that they're going to... I know there was a lot of plot points that they weren't going to tie up, but I knew that there was a hell of a lot of plot points that they were within those last like 20 minutes, half an hour. Finding Luke, I've already seen him on the back of the box, so I know he's in here somewhere, right? You've got the Kylo Ren and Han being sent to try and convert him to the good side again. Princess Leia and like what happens to Rey and Finn. Like it was all building up, like bubbling up nicely.
Okay, can I ask you a question though?
Yeah.
So
sure.
You've got up to this point, and you're about 20 minutes from the end or so.
Yeah.
So, have you at any point in this film been wondering, like, where is Luke at this point? Like,
no. Do you know?
Did that bother you at all?
No, it's totally funny. I completely forgot about him. I completely forgot. So yeah, I'd seen there's an image of Luke on the back of the box, like in a hood and a beard and everything. So I knew he was in this film, but I was so wrapped up in the film that I didn't care that he hadn't been on. I knew he was going to be in it at some point, but like we'll talk about that at the end, I guess. Yeah. I have actually got a question for you though.
Okay.
What's the strongest fish?
I don't know.
A tractor bream.
Okay.
Next, we've got a telly. Right, okay. This is obviously...
That's killed it. That joke has absolutely killed it.
Don't have a go at me. Have a go at the joke book. Who's the publishers? Egmont. Have a go at Egmont, because they've also got... What do you give a sick Wookiee? Plenty of room. Fucking hell. Okay. Right. Totally loving these characters too. Ram, Finn, Oh my god, the typos in this are absolutely. I'll read it as I've written it. You must
have been excited. You know,
yeah, I think so. Let me read you exactly how it's written. Telly loving the characters too. Ray and fun. Retinitis was wonderful.
Retinitis?
Right.
What's that?
So reuniting, I think that was supposed to be was wonderful. Yeah, when they got back together. Right. Okay, this is interesting. Didn't quite get the Han wearing that coat reference. What was that about? There's a bit where the doors are just about to close and then someone gives him a coat, but he only wears it for like 2 seconds and then he takes it off. So it must have been a reference to something.
I don't remember that. I remember Leia like commenting on him having the same coat, and he's like, "It's not the same coat; it's a new one."
Yeah, that was funny. But there's a bit where they're going somewhere into like the snow. That was it, into the snow on the Death Planet thing, and they're going to behind these doors, and these doors slowly close. Then someone picks up and gives them a coat, and it looks like it's supposed to be an important coat for whatever reason. And then I was like, okay, he's wearing this coat. I wonder what that is. And then he's only wearing it for about 2 seconds and he gets to go inside and he just takes it off. And I was like, okay, that must have been a reference to Star Wars that I hadn't picked up on. So I didn't get it. It was definitely a reference to something. It must have been. They made too much of a thing of it. But okay, all right, as long as you didn't pick up on it.
No, that's it.
Right, okay. Han suing Kalo. Okay? This is tense. Han seeing Kalo.
Seeing Kalo, right, okay.
Right, okay, yeah. Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Han seeing Kylo Ren. Yeah, that was tense. Like, the first time he saw him, I was like, whoa. And then when he was walking along the bridge towards him and that standoff, man, I was holding my breath. Genuinely. I was like, what the fuck is going to happen here? And then I put, wow, he turned back really easily, didn't he? Oh, wait. And then I put, fuck. Han. Fuck. No. Yeah. Fuck. That's done me.
I know.
And then I put, kill every last one of them, Chewie. Like,
yeah. I know. I've got that down because I've got, what did I say? I said, yeah, Chewie going mad is brilliant.
Like, it's the best. It's the absolute best, right? And
yeah.
So I didn't see this coming. I thought Han Solo would be in the next 3 films.
Yeah, I also had no idea this was going to happen. And when I saw it in the cinema, it was funny because, you see, I've had conversations with other people about this who absolutely hate this moment because
the reason it?
Well, no, the reason they hate it is because they don't want Han Solo to die.
Oh, right, no, I get that then, yeah.
But in terms of the story, it's fantastic. I mean, it was a brilliant decision, I think, to do that because the stakes it gives is. I never
thought they would have done it. Like, handing over a beloved series to Disney like this, and the first film back, they kill off one of the main characters.
Yeah.
Like, one of the biggest characters. They just gone. Like, just, you couldn't have.
And I'll tell you,
it was
and
wonderful.
He's not coming back as a Force ghost either.
No, of course he ain't. He ain't got the Force, has he, the fella?
Exactly, yeah.
But what I will say is that I saw it coming. The moment he holds the lightsaber, he stops him taking it off him.
Mm-hmm.
I went, okay, well, he's dead now. Like, so I knew he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
There was always a chance he wasn't going to, so I wasn't like 100. Well, he's dead. But when it happens, man, like, what a punch to the gut! Like,
yeah.
And I'll talk about something else actually just after this. Right, kill every last one of them, Chewie. Wow, the lightsaber battle is class. This is with Kylo Ren, Rey, and Finn.
And Finn, yeah, that was also brilliant. Well,
wonderful. Yeah. I mean, you could sit there and go, "Oh, why is Finn so good?" There are reasons for
that, I think, because Kylo by that point is also hurt as well.
Yeah. He's injured, yeah.
And that works because, I mean, that was the other. When I first saw it, I was just thinking, how is it he's supposed to be like a great evil whatever, he should be able to easily deal with them. But yeah, he's hurt, so that.
Well, this
works.
is it, and the fact that he was using the Force on Rey, but not Finn, is also part but then I kind of thought, well, maybe he's so arrogant that he thought, well, this guy should be able to take down easily or whatever.
Also, the other thing that I liked about these was these felt a lot. I mean, obviously they are, but they felt less choreographed than the prequel stuff. You know, they felt more like the original trilogy stuff.
Yeah,
they felt a lot more like that, which made them feel more real. I felt, which is
totally
good.
I mean, the battles were fantastic. And then I put this. This is the first Star Wars film that Jo, my wife, has suddenly got into.
Really?
Yeah, she's loving it. She shouted no when Han died alongside me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So Jo has not been watching all these films. She's seen the original trilogy. I don't think she's seen much of the prequels before I started this. So she didn't watch any of the original trilogy with me. When it got to the prequels, she was sort of in and out of the front room. And she was in and out of the front room, sitting down, maybe watching 5 minutes and rolling her eyes and saying she's going to bed or going into another room or whatever. So it's just no interest. She was taking the piss out of it, whatever.
Well, it's not hard, is it?
No. So she sat down probably about 10 minutes after I'd started this. And she was sitting on her phone, like laying down on a sofa or whatever. And then suddenly I looked over and she's like watching. And I thought, okay, this is interesting. And then she was like reacting to stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is good. Like, she's getting into it. By the end of it, we were both sitting watching it together. And the moment when Han died, we were like, fuck, no! And she was like, why would they kill him? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm dealing with this myself at the moment, Jo. Can we not talk about why they would do it? Yeah, so I think that is a very important thing to note, to be honest. All right, okay, back to notes.
Shoot.
What did you just say to me?
I said shoot.
Since when did you talk like that?
I know, why can't I say that? What's wrong with that?
I don't think you can pull that off, James.
Why? I use that often.
Really? Not to me, you don't.
Maybe not to you, but I use it to other people all the time.
Don't.
What's wrong with that? It's fine.
You've not got the charisma to turn around and go, shoot. You can't do that.
Of course I can.
Okay. Oh my God.
I'm not going to stop. That's going to happen more now.
Okay, fine. Oh my God, this is so good. Yes, Ray. Yes, kill him. Do it. Is what I've written down. Finding Luke, really well done. Hairs on the back of my neck type stuff. Okay? So that was the end of the film. This is the note that I've written down. Wow. What a film. It's my favourite Star Wars film so far. Almost nothing to moan about, and brilliant from start to finish. Lived up to my hype and more. Really, really good. It is. That is my favourite Star Wars film so far. It's jumped to the top of the list for me. James, not only that. Now, I wrote that note the moment I'd finished watching it. I've had a couple of days to dwell on it and think about the film, and it's confirmed that I'm a Star Wars fan. That film single-handedly confirmed that I was a Star Wars fan, and I think it's forever going to be important to me because the first three films I really enjoyed. The prequels, they were poor, but I still managed to find things I liked in them. But this film was like fuck. Throughout the whole film, I'm going yes, yeah. Go, yes, I was into it more than any other film. I was glued to my screen. When I look at my notes for this film compared to the other films, there's hardly any compared to the others because I was just so wrapped up in it, and like I could not believe it. Like for me, it was the funniest of all the films. It was the most dramatic of all the films, and it had the best action. So you know, as someone that has not had the time and nostalgia applied to the original trilogy, this was my film. This was like shit, man. Like this is it. This is it.
And I presume you'd also feel that this film, this can also like operate for people that haven't really seen Star Wars before, as we've just seen like evidence from what you said about Jo. This is even a jumping in point.
Jo, yeah. Is it a jumping in point? It's impossible to tell. It is impossible for any of us to say this is a good jumping in point without finding someone and getting them to watch this film first, because there's so many nods to the original film that I'm wondering that there's, like, if you're watching this one as your first Star Wars film, you might be going, what the fuck is that guy? Like, what the fuck is that all about? Why are they doing this? You know, I don't know if it's like a big jumping on point. You would think, like, if you were to ask me and not consider the fact that I've watched the thing, I would say absolutely. Like, I was thinking, like, if my son wants to start watching Star Wars films, I'd probably start him with this one. But then I would think, actually, no, because I want him to know all the background stuff as well. Yeah. To really appreciate why this is so good.
But I still think you can watch this one. I think you can watch this one without having seen the other stuff. I think it'd be possible to do that.
Yeah,
and still enjoy it as a film.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. But I don't know if you can confidently say that without knowing. You can't, because you can't wipe your memory and watch this film. Like, it's weird. But anyway, it's my favourite Star Wars film, without a shadow of a doubt. I loved every fucking second of it, James. Every second of it. And it's really given me a huge lift. I'm so excited to see where it goes from here. I'm fucking pumped, man. Like, where does it sit for you? Like, if you remove the other films for now that we haven't covered, where does this sit and compared to the other 6? Okay,
so this is, for me, this film is comfortably better than any of the prequels, I would say.
Like, easy,
I'd say it's comfortably better than any of those. Probably I enjoyed it maybe more than Return of the Jedi, I think I'd probably say.
The Wookiees, James.
Ewoks, you mean?
Oh, the Ewoks, they're the ones.
Yeah.
So I've just told you how I'm now officially a Star Wars fan, and I got that wrong. So
that's not good. But I do have one or two issues with this film that stop me from. I wouldn't say as a film, I think it's terrific, and I really enjoyed every minute of it.
All right, fine. Let's hear it.
Okay, but then when I start to, it's one of those things where when I start to think about it, like certain aspects of it, though, there are bits that I found not so satisfying.
Come on, then, let's hear them.
Okay, so the stuff, I mean, obviously, we've already talked about Rey and Rey's powers and all that kind of thing. That I felt was unearned, and I didn't think that really worked terribly well.
It didn't bother me. Go.
That was one thing. The other thing that I feel was missing, and this is, again, this wouldn't affect you, but it does affect me because I have read all the lore and all that sort of stuff. I didn't like the way, the First Order and all of that stuff, because I didn't feel that there was enough context provided there for how that had all come about. No, I felt it was too.
Hold on.
You've got okay. Listen to me, right? Listen to this, right? You've got the end of the Return of the Jedi. You've got the whole collapse of the Empire. You've got it's indicated that the whole Empire collapses. I mean, you see that with all the statues coming down and all that.
Return of the Jedi. Yeah, gotcha.
So then you're thinking, okay, are the rebels now going to build a republic or something like that? And where do these other guys come from?
Well, but hold on. Surely that's exciting, isn't it? Surely that can be covered in another film, because that's what A New Hope is.
That's the thing. Maybe they will cover that in another film. I mean, and hopefully they will. Or there actually are books that have started to do this as well, the Disney time books and everything. But I still felt that there wasn't quite enough context provided for them.
I mean, look, you're valid. Your opinion's valid. I'm not trying to argue your opinion. Okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But take that same criticism and point it towards A New Hope.
No, but there's enough there, though.
No, there's not, James. It's exactly the same. You don't know how the Empire's formed in A New Hope.
No, you don't. That's true.
And it's not explained at all throughout that film.
But that's different, because when you first see A New Hope, you've got nothing to compare it to at that point. So you know that there's the archetype idea of there's a bad empire and there's a rebellion going on. With this, you've already got all the baggage of all the other films that have happened. You've already seen the fall of an empire. So it's where have these guys come from then? Why are these suddenly doing this as well?
That just makes me more excited. That just means that there's a big period in the Star Wars sort of films that can be covered.
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
and it will be covered at some point.
Yeah. that's true. But when I saw the film, I just felt I don't know where these guys have come from and like why they're a thing. If you see what I mean.
Sorry, man. I don't know how. Right. Obviously, I've not read any of the books. I've not been in, but I don't know how you can level a criticism at that film that you can also do at A New Hope. Like, it's exactly the same situation.
No, because it's not the same situation though. Because because with The New Hope, you've got zero going into that film, whereas with this one, you've just got loads to work with.
No, you've just been talking about how this is a good film to start off in. Like, no, this is a good jumping-in point.
Yes, for somebody who doesn't care about any of the backstory or anything. But if you do care about backstory, then it doesn't provide any of that at all as to how we've got to this point.
Right, okay, like, so you're saying that they should have taken these films and started them directly from after... They should have gone in...
After Return of the Jedi, yeah. I mean, ideally...
I totally disagree.
Well, no, I mean, obviously you can't do that now because it's too... The gap has been too long, like in reality. Like, so they couldn't really do that.
Like Han turning up, just like, Han, you've aged. It's only been a week. And we heard about this new order that's starting up. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just stop.
So, radiation or something.
I disagree, James. I think... It doesn't have to go into that stuff.
No, it doesn't have to, but it would have been nice to have been provided with a bit more of that. And
yeah, I'd want them to go into that in a deep way, like later on. I don't think it didn't need to. I don't think. I disagree that do you know what? Like, whatever. It's if that's your opinion, that's all cool, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is that for me, absolutely not. That didn't cross my mind at all. I didn't care how they were formed. I'm sure that will come out at some point, but that didn't bother me in the slightest.
And then the only other thing that did bother me slightly was how slavishly it followed A New Hope, though. To the point. I mean, I didn't like the whole sort of planet super weapon thing at all.
Yeah,
like that irritated me a bit because I was just thinking like, oh, they've just taken that and it's like, look, it's bigger like that, and I didn't like that. I thought that they could have done something different to that.
It mirrored it a lot. I mean, the attack on the weak point, the flying through the caverns and stuff like that.
You see, the trouble is that's been done in so many Star Wars films as well. Yeah. And I know that this is like a soft reboot, but I still think this was an opportunity to do something a bit different. No, it still would have worked.
I understand that criticism. It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me to the point where I would it sort of dampen my feeling towards the film. But I can see that criticism, and I fully understand that. Because it did. I mean, it was ridiculous in places, like, well, now this is a bigger Death Star, and there's a weakness here, but if you fly in with your little ships, you can attack it. I was kind of like, okay, all right, I totally can see that. See that point, but I think.
But generally, I mean, apart from that, that's all I've got really. To be honest, the rest of it I really liked. I mean, there's also, the theme. One of the themes there of like, you got like the whole Kylo Ren thing about him, basically wanting to be like, he's a loser, wannabe Darth Vader kind of thing. But also the fact that you've got the same thing with other characters in there. With Hux, you remember him? He was the First Order like general guy.
Yeah.
And he's young as well, and it feels like he's playing a role as well, like he's trying to be this. Because the First Order feel
like a shit tribute band, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. They feel like a knockoff Empire. They're not like they're not really the real thing at all. But it feels like that's intentional. That they're playing at this almost. They're not really the real deal, if you see what I mean. And I thought that does work quite well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean. So you would, can you understand why I would put this like to the top of my list though?
I can understand why, because also I know that you're a fan of like I think I know what kind of films you like to a degree. No, I think I know, and that's why I thought that you might like this film. In the same way that
what
I think
does
if
that
I showed
mean?
you, in the same way
that sounds really patronising.
No.
It does, James. That's the most patronising thing you've ever said to me.
I think that if I showed you the most recent Star Trek films by J.J. Abrams, you'd like those as well.
Okay.
I think you'd be well into those, even though I think they're awful.
This is it. What you like, David, is base level entertainment. There is a TV show called Everybody Loves Raymond that I think you will really enjoy, David.
No, I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean? It's like
I will buy you Mrs. Brown's Boys on DVD for Christmas, and you will laugh your bollocks off, David.
Yeah, you'll be loving that. It's like, you know, but I think
you fucking prick.
I know.
You absolute twat. That is the worst thing you've ever said to me. Like, how could you turn around and go, I think I understand the sort of entertainment
I know what kind of things make you tick, Dave.
Go on,
it's like,
name a couple.
You're loving, I know, I just know. It's like, and that's why I wasn't
name
sure
it, come on.
Because, you see, with this film, I thought you were either going to love it or you were going to really dislike it for some reason. But I thought you'd probably go with that. I thought you'd be like,
what's like a really complicated film that you think that I'd hate, that you love?
I don't know, actually.
Come on, James, you've got one in your head.
No, I can't think of anything because... I'd have to think about it. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll give you something that I really like that you're definitely going to hate. Yeah. I'll tell you what, Dave.
Then maybe, David, you can give me Dumb and Dumber, and I will watch that and tell you that it was good, but didn't have quite enough depth for my intelligent brain.
Well, it's I know what you're working with, Dave. So it's like,
Are you a twat?
I know.
Yeah, so that was it. So the only other question I had for you was like, did George comment on this? Did our old mate George, did he just... Because this must have been massive, right? I've got a feeling that critically it was very well praised. And if there was any negativity coming towards it, it was from some very... this is... Because I don't want to, I can understand why people would dislike this. So I am not putting them down. What I'm saying is some very hardcore Star Wars fans I could see getting the hump with this. Because it is a bit too, mimicky of the first film. It is a little bit too, it ignores some of the, stuff that...
It's very mainstream. It's quite broad.
It is quite... Fuck you, James. What I'm saying is that I can see why some people, because it kind of disregards some of the stuff that Star Wars universe has built up, right? Okay, so I understand why people criticise this, but what did George make of it?
Okay, so George has seen the film, obviously, and I mean the quote I've got here. He said
pile of shit.
The film, he said watching the film was like going to your ex-wife's wedding, which is. It's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, but if your ex-wife was marrying Brad Pitt.
Yeah. And you're still stuck with Hayden Christensen being creepy, looking at you in that way.
Him just sort of sitting in the corner, and Brad Pitt going over, you all right, George? Yes. Did you enjoy the wedding? Yeah. Why are you looking so sad? Just hate sand. Okay, George, we'll enjoy the rest of the wedding. Goodbye. I'm going to go bang your ex-wife. So he wasn't he was quite negative about it then, I guess?
Yeah, I think, he hasn't, I think he's tried to avoid saying too much about his opinions.
I think by the sounds of it, just by that quote alone, it sounds like he's more upset that he's no longer part of it.
Yeah. But
more than he disliked the film.
He did get a lot of money, so he's probably not that upset.
Yeah, well, yeah. Jesus. Anyway, that's probably it now, isn't it? We've covered that film. The best Star Wars film. We've spoken about that one. So what am I watching next? I genuinely don't know what I'm watching next.
Okay, so you've got Rogue One next because we're doing this.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
One sec. I'm just gonna go. I'm coming back. Right, Rogue One. I'm just getting the old.
You got the Blu-ray, yeah.
The old DVD out or Blu-ray. Rogue One. Okay, so I know that this film is about them getting the Death Star stuff.
Yeah.
Because I got
so
told that.
This is set before Episode 4.
So am I watching this? Come out next? Did it after?
Yes.
Force
Awakens? This is the next release. Yeah.
So what am I watching after this?
Well, no, because after Disney bought all of this, they had this plan for okay, we've got the new Skywalker trilogy or whatever, next 3 films, but then also they started releasing a new one every year as well in between, and these are supposed to be spin-off stories. So that's why we're watching this one.
So after this one, what am I watching?
Then you'll be watching Episode 8.
Right. Okay. So I'm watching Episode 8, then Solo.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And then you're
excited to see Episode 8.
Yeah. I'm very excited for you to see that as well.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so I'm looking at the back of the box and Darth Vader's on it. So he's back in town, obviously, because that's set in that time period. But
Rogue One is, I quite like this film. So I think it'll be, we'll see.
I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting just a nice little...
Side story, sort of thing, yeah?
Side story, yeah. Although it's weird because everyone's been saying that, calling them spin-offs and side stories, but how are they spin-offs and side stories? They're part of the main fucking plot, aren't they?
Yeah, to a degree, but then they focus on other characters. It's trying to expand the universe, isn't it?
Right, okay, cool. I'm glad they're doing these little films, though. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do you think they're ever going to completely break away from all this?
How do you mean? What, from the central Skywalker stuff?
Yeah.
I can't tell you that because it'll ruin stuff that's coming up.
Oh shit! Yeah. So that means shit.
We can't talk about stuff like that. We can't. It's just not fair. You have to wait. We can talk about this.
Can I make a prediction?
Episode 8.
Can I make a prediction?
Go on.
Episode 8, Luke Skywalker dies. Princess Leia dies. I reckon they're going to drop some big characters in the next film.
Right, okay.
Because they want the last film to be about the next story in Star Wars, where they're going in future. That would be the link between whatever they do next with Star Wars and the leaving the old trilogy behind. That's going to be the one where they just start cutting characters out.
Okay, well, after we've seen it, we can discuss all this because this has been the speculation.
I saw a forum post about you saying it's hilarious knowing that James Farley has to bite his lip, practically chew his own lip off every time David opens his mouth about what he thinks happens next. So, yeah.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
All right, well, you're a hero.
Thanks.
I'll catch you soon, yeah?
All right, see ya.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Why do doctors make the best Jedi?
Go on.
Because a Jedi must have patience. That's just another one of the jokes from this book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a reworked one?
I think so. Where did Han Solo... It's like when you get one of those games, it's 200 games in one cart, and then you realise 40 of them are clones of another one. Mm-hmm. Where did Han Solo leave the Millennium Falcon?
Don't know, go on.
At a parking meteor.
That's quite weak, that one, isn't it?
Yep. What do you call a Jawa on an iceberg?
I'm drawing a blank.
Lost.
That's just a statement, isn't it?
I heard Han Solo... What? I heard Han stole Jabba's calendar. Apparently his days are numbered now.
Again, it's I
want to see if I could get a laugh out of you.
Go on.
Where do stormtroopers get their uniform cleaned?
I don't know.
At the dry cloners. The dry cloners, James.
Yeah, that doesn't work either.
I think I need to go back to droid school for a bit. I'm getting a bit rusty. The fuck?
What's that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Did you hear about the violent power droid? It was arrested for assault and battery. That's...
the battery there. It's not too bad.
Which bounty hunter has money problems? Boba Fett.
That's quite good. I quite like that one.
You happy with that one?
Yeah, I'm happy with that one. Yeah,
That's not the usual response to a good joke, though, James. You don't understand that.
But you can acknowledge that it's fine. Yeah, that's like it's all right.
That joke is funny.
Yeah, that joke. You can see, on a technical level why it's funny.
Why were the Jedi Master's eyes crossed?
I don't know. This sounds like it's going to be bad. Go on.
He couldn't control his pupils. Why does Yoda smell nice?
Go on.
Deodorant.
What's that got to do with it? Is it deodorant? Like, it sounds like Yoda.
No, because it's deodorant.
Deodorant. Okay.
I wasn't just saying deodorant. Okay, we haven't got a laugh yet. Argued with the referee at a rugby match. I did. Try. There was no try.
Oh
my god, there are like Yoda themed ones.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine and Count Dooku have launched their own brand of aftershave.
Okay.
Begun the Clone Wars have. They've just...
that's quite good. The Cologne... Is it Cologne Wars?
Oh, it is the Cologne Wars, yeah. I just
Cologne Wars.
Yeah, shit. I got laugh. You're just laughing to make me stop now.
I am, yeah.